Hey everybody, I hope you're having a fantastic day. I am making a video that I've wanted to make for a long time, and it is about my beloved mouse. This is the Lenovo Y Gaming Precision mouse. Now, I am not a gamer, and if you're a gamer, I'm sure you have preferences on what kind of gaming mouse you want, but I'm a productivity person. My biggest thing is that I wanted a mouse that fit my big old hands. What got all this started was back in 2016, I was coding, and one day I just woke up and I decided I needed to use my scroll wheel, and it stopped scrolling. And I was really sad. That was my beloved Microsoft IntelliMouse, and it just stopped scrolling. And so I went on this journey to find a replacement mouse. I bought several from Walmart, several from Best Buy, several from Amazon, and wound up returning all of them except for this one. And this little gem right now is $22.99, I believe, at Amazon. So $23. And it is a fantastic mouse. Now, my hands aren't like over the top giant, but I can't fit in regular extra large gloves. Like, I need 2X gloves, and so having kind of a chunky mouse is important to me. And there's a few other things that are really important to me. I need to have the scroll wheel. I need to have the back and forward buttons. I don't really use the page up and page down that much. I do like the ability to set my resolution. I generally keep this at about 600 DPI, which feels fast on one monitor, but when you're using 6 monitors, like, it stinks to have to pick up your mouse and like keep scrolling to get from one to another. So this one will get me, through all 3 screens in about that much of a motion, and that feels pretty natural to me. One of the things I love about it is that it is weighted, and so you can take weights in and out. Now, I put all 20 grams worth of weights in here. You could probably even shove some more in if you wanted to. I should point out that this is a right-handed mouse, and so if you're one of those left-handed freaks, you are just out of luck. Not much I can tell you. But I love this mouse so much that I have another one here, and I've sent others as gifts and all that kind of stuff. And so I just really love this mouse, and it kind of got me thinking about the more broad thing that we spend so much time thinking about how much our CPU, how many cores are in our CPU and how many gigahertz and how much RAM and all that kind of stuff. But when it comes down to it, you interact with your mouse, your keyboard, and your monitor pretty much all day, every day when you're using your computer. And so getting a mouse that's comfortable, getting a mouse that feels natural is important. I do the same things. This is not my everyday keyboard. This is one that sits on the CNC machine right now. But for the longest time, I would use something like one of these little $9 Keytronic keyboards. It was just kind of mushy, and the little feet in here, I mean, look at that. Those little feet are cheap, all that kind of stuff. The whole keyboard flexes. But as I began coding for a living, I learned that I really liked the farther tactile keys, and these are Cherry MX Blues. The actual reason why I don't use this every day is I goofed when I bought this one and didn't realize that the arrow keys weren't separate, and I use both the number pad and the arrow keys all the time, so it just drove me insane to not have separate arrow keys on my keyboard. So I don't use this one except on the CNC, but I do love the tactile feel of it. And so I encourage you to spend a little bit on your keyboard if you can afford it. Spend a little bit on your mouse. So I was also thinking about the idea of like my mouse journey. I mentioned the idea that I had a corded version of this one, and I absolutely love it. This is the Microsoft IntelliMouse 2.0, and I prefer corded mice. There's enough that goes wrong in my everyday life. Like, when you're a maker and you're developing software and working with electronics, plenty goes wrong on a daily basis. And to be honest, I just don't feel like worrying about if my mouse is charged or if I have battery standing by. I do love that it's a little smaller. I love the smooth scrolling. Like, it's not freewheeling. There's some resistance to it, but I love the way this one scrolls, and I like the way this feels in my hand. And for one thing, like, I'm a Microsoft mouse guy in general, and so it was difficult to get away from Microsoft mice, but they just don't have anything good anymore. So that's why I went with the Lenovo Y mouse. Now, just to give you a little bit of my history, I started off in I had a Tandy when I first started doing computers, and that was probably 1986 or something like that. Tandy 1000 EX, and they had a mouse for it that I don't think I ever had. It was a little 2-button jobby. But then my first real mouse was when I got a 386, and I had a serial mouse that came with it. And then my first Microsoft one was called a Microsoft Bus Mouse. And it actually had an ISA, I believe it was an 8-bit ISA card that would go in the computer, and that's how the mouse hooked up. I never actually looked it up to see if it was actually just a PS2 port on a card or what. But that was my first quality mouse, and from that point on, I've been hooked. I went from the original Microsoft Bus Mouse to the one that I think after that, the next big feature was moving to maybe optical came next, and then after that they came in with the scroll wheel around when Windows 95 came out, and I've got one of those. This is the regular Microsoft Comfort Mouse 1000, and this is the sort of generic ambidextrous version of it that had a scroll wheel. And when you used to have to clean the lint off your mouse balls, stepping up to something optical with a scroll wheel was a really big deal. And so then eventually I got into the IntelliMice and the more ergonomic designs and back buttons and stuff like that. But you know what? Like, I don't feel like the productivity market values mice like they used to. And so anyway, I know I'm just kind of chit-chatting, but I want to know like what your favorite mouse is. I want to know what you think about this one. Does anybody have it? Have you spent a lot of money on mice? Are you happy with your mouse? Anyway, just comment, chit-chat. Haven't been able to record a video in a while, so I thought I'd just come on here and talk a little bit. So, hey, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're surviving the lockdown. I hope you're staying healthy, that your family's healthy, and I'll be making more videos, and we'll talk more soon. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.